I hope you all have enjoyed this particular small but very interactive video on our department, what we are doing, how we are doing it. So we believe in people. This department is actually driven by people. And we are very grateful to Dr. Manisha Shukla Madam and all the staff members for giving their best in this particular department. So moving on further, at this point, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speakers. So to start with, we have with us Mr. Kalpit Bhavalkar, sir. Sir, could you please wave your hand and show your hi to all the participants attending the webinar? Thank you, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So Kalpit sir is currently the head of AI at Converge AI. This organization is based in Nagpur with over 6 years of experience. Sir has built dozens of AI and ML based solutions for various use cases in healthcare, manufacturing, and retail sector. My dear friends, you would be surprised to know that despite being a PhD dropout from IIT Nagpur, his contributions to AI development are remarkable. So, having introduced you to our audience, sir, we extend a very warm welcome and express our sincere gratitude for joining us as the guest speaker for this webinar. Now, moving on further, our next guest speaker is Mr. Ganta Srinath Reddy, sir. Sir, I request you to please wave your hand to the audience, say your hello. Thank you, sir. So Srinath Reddy sir is also our esteemed partner for this particular webinar. He is an accomplished entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the higher education domain. Sir is known for his understanding of market and technological advancements. He is the founder of Learning Paths Technologies LLP and an innovation partner with T-Hub specializing in academia innovation. His expertise includes marketing, business development, technology solutions, and project management. Previously, he had served as co-founder director for COIGN Global Connect LLP and WebCognize Softtech Private Limited. Now that we have had the pleasure of introducing you, sir, to the attendees, I extend my warm welcome on behalf of the department and SBUP to you. We are
Thank
honored
you.
to have you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bye.
As a guest speaker, I'm sure that you will share valuable insights with all the participants, including us.
Thank you, Manisha ji.
Thank you, sir. So finally, we are honored to have Mr. Rishikesh Utpat, sir. Sir, could you please turn on your camera and wave your hands
Hello,
to
good
the
morning.
audience? Good morning, sir. So Rishikesh, sir, is a renowned digital leader who is known for his expertise in digital transformation and leadership, guiding the organizations through the complexities of the digital age. He has led the digital channels for large global banks in his previous roles and has spearheaded digital consultancy for Europe and Africa. With extensive global experience in various banking domains, including retail, commercial, and investment banking, he has collaborated with fintechs to adopt innovative technology solutions that enhance the banking customer experience. Mr. Utpat has a deep interest in the user experience design thinking and system design, applying these techniques to establish large global teams. Additionally, I'm very pleased to mention that he is an accredited leader coach and has served as a mentor, speaker, and jury member at various national events. Sir, we are thrilled to have you with us as a guest speaker for this webinar and can't wait to hear what you have to share with us today. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. So, moving further, we are very honored to have Dr. Neelam Upasani, madam, as our moderator for today's session. Madam, could you please wave your hand to the audience? Thank you. So, Dr. Upasani ma'am is a PhD graduate in data science and machine learning from IIT Dhanbad with over 22 years of experience. She is proficient in multiple programming languages and has a very strong academic foundation. So, Dr. Upasani madam will guide us through the today's discussion. So, before we begin, I would like to remind all the participants to kindly post their questions in the chat box. The group discussion will last for 45 minutes, followed by a 15-minute question and answer session. That is all I want from you to make this event successful. Now, thank you everyone for joining us today. Over to you, Dr. Upasni, madam. The stage is all yours. Thank you.
you. Thank you, Dr. Aman.
Dr. Gupta, Dr. So
Yes, sir.
before we
Yes, sir.
start, although it's not part of the schedule, but
Yes,
I
sir.
do not want to miss this opportunity, this wonderful opportunity to give a
Mhm.
personal namaskar to all the speakers and Neelam ma'am. So Kalpit ji, Reddy ji, and Rishikesh sir, namaskar to you and welcome to this wonderful Festival of Learning, our webinar.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Neelam
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank
The
you, ma'am.
session is all yours. Thank you so very
Thank you, ma'am.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Manisha, ma'am. So, good morning, everyone. Nowadays, artificial intelligence and machine learning become pivotal in shaping the future of businesses and organizations globally. As per the reports published by Forbes Advisor, AI market size is expected to reach $407 billion by 2027. Also, AI will have an estimated 21% net increase on the US GDP by 2030. Today, we'll explore how these technologies are not just enhancing efficiency, but also enabling new possibilities and innovations. Today, we have an exceptional panel of experts with us who will share their insights, experiences, and the latest advancement in these transformative technologies. Our agenda include an informative discussion on how AIML is transforming industries today, challenges and future trends, followed by Q&A session. Please type your questions into the chat box. We will address as many as possible during our dedicated Q&A segment at the end. So let's dive right into our discussion. So starting with Kalpit sir. Sir, how has your journey been with AI so far? What are some notable trends that you have observed?
Right. So uh, let me begin by thanking SBUP for inviting me to this webinar. So AI and ML, I mean, the kind of buzzwords that they are today and the kind of industry support that they have today. So this wasn't always the case. AI was, kind of somewhere in the background working to, optimize processes, handling some, document processing, etc. And it was always, a very small unit for a for a large organization. But AI has been here for a while. So if you look at the history, the term artificial intelligence was coined around 1957, and the initial work on AI, was done right from the times of Alan Turing himself.
Right.
So industry being what it is, it has always been on the lookout for better ways and better automation and better quality control, etc. So it has been leveraging artificial intelligence for a long while. The typical use cases that were there, so if you see, the use cases that were there before 2012, they
Hmm.
were more around optimization and OR and aspects like chip design, etc. But after 2012, due to the whole impact of AI around computer vision, so a lot of things changed, and due to the research papers like word to vec, so uh, the impact on natural language processing changed.
Hmm.
And once that ball started rolling and more data started coming in, and more smarter people started working on it. So around 2017, if you see, when the transformer models were introduced, so that kind of brought in a boom of what kind of use cases were possible. And of course, the trend since the last probably 20 months has all been GPT. So from the introduction of chat GPT, so the overall trend has been exploding, uh, and more so in the last 5 to 7 years, it has
Hmm.
been massive.
Yes, sir. Right. So, Rishikesh sir, would you like to share your journey been with AI?
Yeah, actually, interestingly, right? My journey with AI is like a normal human's journey, right? As we start growing up from childhood to adulthood, every experience is a data point in your brain, and that's how your intelligence grows. Similarly, similarly, since last few years, I have been learning day by day about things. I'm trying out few projects, learning some things, and that's how I have been growing. In various banks, I've used a lot of AI solution, but there, if you ask me honestly, right, there's a lot of hype people do saying, "Oh, I want an AI because it's a fancy tool." It's not that. It's very important to understand how to use it, because the ability to deploy AI is based. It's the limit is your imagination. Okay, it's about that. And as Kalpit sir said, a lot of it is data. Uh, it's as I said, as a human, if you have well traveled, we have good exposure, you definitely are intelligent and smarter, right? Similarly, if you have a good data points, good quality data available for your AI is much better. And of course, last few months, last year or so has been very strong on Gen AI, and I think it has really opened up a new segment for it, for use cases.
I think
Neelam
Neelam
ma'am,
ma'am,
you need to unmute yourself.
So, Reddy sir, any notable trends you have observed in your journey?
Yeah, first of all, thanks to SBUP for hosting me. Thank you, Manisha ma'am and Amar. The great meeting you guys again, because when I've been to SBUP multiple times as a part of innovation activities they've been doing. SBUP is always a great host. There's no second thought about it, and the kind of new initiative that you bring to the ecosystem in the academia is always a trend set. First thing. Okay. Thanks for having me here. I'm a first of all, in my journey started with software engineering, and then in IT, and then I have started my own organization, multiple organizations under in academic academia and all. Majorly, edtech is the all my overall journey into. If you see the trends in the AI or any new technology, I see from the perspective of the academia and students and learners community. Okay, so that what best we can bring, because in India most of the companies always have a complaint that academia is not up to the mark, students are not up to the mark in the industry wise technologies and all. So I always look at from that as angle, and then see what actually we can bring, what we can do to bridge that gap. Okay, in India, close to 80 to 90% of the technical colleges, technical graduation colleges, actually given the permission to start with AI and ML courses. Out of 2.5 million students who are coming from the graduates, now there are close to 3 to 4 lakh faculty also there who are responsible to deliver these technologies to the students in a way that is useful for the industry also. Okay, so this gap itself is a huge gap. Okay, that's where my journey with the AI school started. Thanks to Technology Hub Telangana, which is in short T Hub, we have co-launched our brand, and then we are on a mission to upskill as many as possible, in so that the industry people from probably Kalpit may get wonderful resource from us, Rishikesh may find out wonderful resource from us. So okay, our job is to make your job easy, guys. Okay, yeah, over to you, Dilma.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. So, moving ahead with our discussion. So, as per the PwC AI business prediction survey, 73% of US companies have already adopted AI in at least some areas of their businesses, and Gen AI is leading the way. So, Reddy sir, could you please provide some examples of successful AI implementations across various industries in India? Maybe some use cases of it.
Yeah, definitely. This is one interesting topic to always discuss. I'll start with a small example. When my wife and myself in the airport, okay, sometime we were waiting for the flight to come and all. Interestingly, she had seen a bag, obviously, right, women. So she handbag, and then she liked it. Okay, so she took the phone, and with the phone she snapped that bag. Immediately, where she can buy, what's the budget, what are the alternative possible, different colors. All these actually started showing up in the mobile. Okay,
Right.
now that is the one wonderful use case of AI itself.
Mm,
Okay, there
right.
are so many use cases in across the industries. You name education, you name retail, you name financial services, you name travel and hospitality, healthcare, life science. If you see, IBM Watson Health is coming with a wonderful picture. They have huge data of our X-rays. You can say all the medical reports. They are doing tremendous in this healthcare sector and insurance sector. If you see, even if you go to a garage with your vehicle, okay, with one click that guy is able to say what kind of dent, how much is the approximation cost of this repair which we may take. So immediately they are seamlessly able to talk to the agencies to on the overall process and service. Okay, technology and manufacturing to tell is one of the forums I can tell that. Recently, we have signed one agreement with the Ministry of Telecom to bring the what is the gap of industry 4.0 technologies in different manufacturing and service sectors. Okay, now we are actually doing a pilot for 500 MSME organizations to find out the that gap. So there we see a lot of opportunity for AI implementations. Okay, and the mobile and entertainment industry is also one other industry where you can see a lot of traction. There are many tools which came on the professional front also. For example, if you take, there is a one tool called Meet Geek which I regularly use. Meet Geek is something like, previously if you take minus 5 6 years of LLM, people used to write the minutes of the meeting for hours together. Okay, one resource dedicatedly used to be there to write the minutes of the meeting. Now I am using Meet Geek for all our meetings, internal meetings, and the entire summary, action plan, who spoke what, at what point, what time, how many people actually contributed for the meeting, so that by looking at those stats automatically just after the meeting, I don't need to engage any resource for the right draft in the minutes itself. Just all these action items go into my project management tool. People will be assigned, and this entire process is getting automated, which is actually increasing the efficiency. And AI is promising to increase the efficiency by 40%. And the other day, I was talking in one of the. There's one more interesting case. In TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, they called me as a speaker for giving the few use cases explanation on AI. Okay, in front of them only, I just downloaded NEP 2020 document, which is around 174 pages PDF document, and then I asked the participants that can anyone create a presentation how NEP 2020 impact in the teacher training across India. Okay, so randomly people started telling that, okay, I may need 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, or 1 week. Okay, like that, because it's a 174 page document, you need to go through bits and pieces.
Right.
Using LLM plus a tool called Gamma,
Hmm.
hardly it took 5 minutes to create a beautiful PPT first version. I won't say it is 100% proper version. Maybe it is 80% also. It is actually decreasing your time by very much. Okay. Now, in every industry where whatever you take, okay, AI use cases need to be are getting implemented, but it is not. It should not be a forcible implementation always. People need to carefully validate how much impact it is going to create on the use case that they're going to build on their customers. Okay, now that because AI is buzzword, it is there in every industry. The management team or leadership team should be very conscious in choosing of the use case based on the data available or business use case. So that is one thing I would like to share, Nilma. Yeah.
Right, right, sir. So as you mentioned about like the tools, these days we are using many tools. Like you mentioned about making the notes, minutes of meeting. So like that, can you share few more tools? Our audience would also like to know few more tools that they can use in their day-to-day life to be more productive, maybe related to some presentation, preparing presentations, or maybe like their day-to-day work.
You have so many. Grammarly, you have And again, it's what sector they are working, what is the purpose of the tool, that particular tool requirement and all.
Right.
Based on that, there are so many tools available in the market. Product Hunt is the place where you can see all the new products which are coming in day out. Okay, if it's a personal efficiency or professional efficiency, or if you're working on the content generation, what tools you are using. The other day, I always use this. ChatGPT is actually making my life, to be honest, very easy. Okay, 30 to 40% of the what to say, frame, creating the content and all, actually removed from my life. Okay, previously, whenever I used to send some proposal, it used to take some time, keep a lot of brain into it, and then reframing, structuring, one more proofreading. That entire thing is gone from my life. Okay, just like that, I just used one draft copy. You write it, add to the ChatGPT, say convert it into a professional tone. It will be giving you wonderful content written back to you. Okay, so based on the industry, again, all the use cases are completely based on the use case requirement. Yeah.
Right,
So
sir.
there are tools available, product hand and all. So I request all the participants look at that and categorize the requirement and then start using them.
Right. Correct, sir. So, Rishikesh, sir, with your expertise in banking industry, would you like to share some use cases in the banking sector?
Definitely. Because banking been most beneficiary. The reason is we banks have been meticulous about maintaining the data for long time, right? It was a regulation, and that's why they succeeded because of having that large data set. Uh, I'll categorize into multiple areas, right? One is the increasing efficiency or removing the manual labor, manual work, right? Which was, so if I look at the analogy of human, right? If I am working, what I need is my hands, what I need is my eyes and a brain primarily, right? So your eyes, the vision AI or OCR technology has created, so I can read any document. With my brain, I can always comprehend the document, as the Reddy sir said, right? I can create an abstract of that document. It's just that AI does it without getting tired and much faster. So a lot of back office operations have been automated and made it super fast, right? So if it used to take, let's say, 3 days for doing something, it has been done in hours time or minutes. And I think, and you can imagine banks have millions of records going through every day. So it is, the efficiency has definitely increased. The other is customer interface, which is not always you go to branch or not always you call up a phone. There are chatbots coming up which are kind of dealing with your basic address change, or where is my check, or what's my credit card payment, and all the basic queries are being taken care by chatbot. How does it help bank? Is basically banks are saving a lot of money, because it's, let's face it, it's actually replacing that human resource, or and that's one part. Second part is it's available 24/7, right? Bank cannot, I mean, bank will have to put 3 shifts of human beings to cater to this. The other and most important for all of us is the fraud detection, which is every time, you must have noticed, every time you swipe in credit card outside your regular zone, right? If you're, let's say, you
Right.
operate in Pune, and you swipe card in Kashmir for change.
Right. And if the transaction amount is also huge compared to your previous transactions.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Previously, there used to be humans looking at all this data. Now
Mm,
it is a very interesting. There's a AI model sitting at it, is looking at how does Rishikesh normally spend, what's the normal spending pattern, and if that pattern detects anything new, it immediately calls me saying, hey, you know what, your card is swiped. Is this you or somebody else has used your card, right?
right.
I think that is a good protection for all of us, and banks are saving a lot of money. So these are the areas, and the other part is the decision making. So loan processing, credit decisioning. There used
Mm,
to be longer processes. Let's say 20 years back when we applied for loan, it used to take a lot of time. Now most of it is done by algorithm and machine learning model, because it kind of have learned or on the regular data, as in how many people default, what are the parameters and all, and based on that, these decisions are also. See, ICICI Bank has started using credit decisioning through AI, and they are using very effectively these days.
right, sir. Yes. So as you mentioned about like in that replacing human resource. So actually, are we like replacing the human resource? Like, what is your experience as far as banking sector is concerned?
The moment I said that, right, I realized you'll ask this question. Uh, see, I think replacing human being is not the right term. I think I didn't use it. It's basically making it more efficient. So it's if you look at
Upscaling,
it,
maybe,
yeah,
right?
it's look at it, right. We used to travel by horse rides and bullock carts earlier, a long time back. Car did not replace bullock carts. It made it faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the horse rider, buggy rider, that driver has changed the job to auto rickshaw driver. The auto rickshaw driver has changed to a Uber driver. So people changes their job and they elevate. And holistically, as a society, we become more efficient. So
Right.
yeah, it doesn't replace human. It's just that those human get to do more better jobs.
Hmm. Right, sir. Yes. Helping the human to take decision, maybe, right?
Yeah,
Assisting human, we can say,
correct.
right?
And as I think it's a myth that people say, oh, AI will take out your job. Of course, if it is a boring job, anyway, you would want AI to take it up, right? So you want to do something interesting. And I think
Right.
that is what is happening. It is basically making you push to learn more and take up a better job.
Right, right, sir. Yes. So moving ahead with our discussion. So Reddy sir, if the industries are ready to adapt to these technologies, what are the major challenges organization face? The key hurdles maybe, and how can businesses overcome them? Like what should be the implementation strategies that they should use? Sir, you are on mute. Sorry, Reddy sir, you are on mute.
Audible now, right?
Yes, yes.
First and foremost is for any organization, which is really important to adopt the AI strategy or AI use cases to be implemented in the organization is first they need to look at their data point. Okay, well, how much data is there with them, really, and how much data is a quality data. Okay, that they have to assess because there's a biggest challenge for any
Right.
organization
Yes,
because
because
the
garbage in, garbage out. The basic principle
exactly.
of AIML.
Very true. Very true. So if you feed garbage, obviously the results are garbage. Okay. So you need to make sure that you are feeding right quality data for the I mean, AI part of it. Now, one more biggest challenge that I see when I'm talking to the leaders across the industries, they are very much facing the difficulty with the lack of skilled resources. People are saying by doing some
Mm,
certification saying that I'm a AI expert. Okay.
mm.
But the kind of expertise that organization need versus the kind of courses that are available, there is a huge gap. That's where, again, I'm the founder of AI School. I need to
Right.
talk about that. So the skill gap is what we are trying to fulfill. And second thing is the cost part of it and the resource requirement. ML projects and AI projects are always expensive. So you need to be careful and aware of what kind of resources and cost management that you need to do at your end so that you properly do it. And if your organization is actually having a legacy systems, how to integrate the new AI use cases into the overall system, you need to be very clear. Otherwise, it turn into a very big challenge for you. And
Right.
one more important aspect is the risk part of it. As these technologies are growing rapidly day by day, there are so many tools which are coming up, so many integrations that we need to do. So you need to carefully evaluate whether can you achieve the return on investment that you are doing or not. Okay, so having so the bottom line for the overcome these all these challenges, obviously you need to if you see that first thing is having a very clear cut strategy about your AI implementation, probably for the 1, 2, 3, 4 years, how you want to do it. What is the culture that you need to build to drive the overall system towards AI adoption is one thing that you need to have very clearly. And I strongly recommend people to start very small with the data, whatever they have, because before we really want to scale, you need to understand after the pilot or the small piece of the use case once implemented, challenges that you got, what are the gaps that you have, and then introspect all these things, and then you start scaling your products and for the users. Because the moment you start scaling in the day one, probably if something is really going wrong, again you have to come back to zero and then start doing it. So I sincerely request all the organization to invest in the upskilling of the your workforce so that they will be assets to your organization in your AI journey for sure. Okay, and time to time you need to have a monitoring and evaluation system in the organization where there should be one eye always what you are actually implementing, in what direction it is leading you, because there is 100% possibility that you will be misguided with the results. So always you need to see, look at that perspective, in what direction you are moving. So with this, these are the couple of challenges and solutions that are actually coming up to a top of mind. Other speaker also can add on to that. Thank you.
Right. So, Kalpit sir, what are your views on this? Like, what are the baby steps that we can take in order to, like, overcome these challenges that Reddy sir has mentioned, like skilled resources, maybe cost, and the risk associated with it. So, what are your views on that?
Right. So I half agree and half disagree with Reddy sir, because of the experience that I have had and the exposure that I have had with our customers. So the part that I agree with is 100% on skilling. Uh, the team that you have, or the resources that you have. So if they are aware of AI, if they are aware of possibilities of where it can be used, if they are aware of the ways that their own work can be improved,
Mm.
it's extremely important to have that awareness. So just to give one example, one of the biggest controversies, I would say, that was brought by technology was with the introduction of ATMs. And I mean, when ATMs came in, a lot of the front desk bank employees went on strike. uh, the reason was that if ATMs come in, what would be the work that a bank employee would do, or a front office bank employee would do, because cash would be handled by that, account statements would be handled by that, and they felt that it would affect their jobs. Their jobs would essentially go away. But how many jobs did ATMs impact? Zero. They in fact increased the reach of banks and made banking industry the behemoths that they are today. Contributed to it definitely. So there is this. So we are actually at that stage right now with AI, where uh, organization employees are getting worried that their jobs might be taken by AI. But what is, I think, the learning that history tells us is that instead of worrying about it, or resisting it, if you embrace it, that will lead to growth. And this is what we are seeing with our customers. So we are seeing teams that took weeks to turn around on a single document, that is now being brought down to a day. We are seeing processes that were handled by like call centers, etc. So those being automated. We are seeing a lot of aspects around media generation, marketing generation, which was unimaginable. I mean, for example, for one of our customers, we did a marketing campaign that built 50,000 creatives. Now, if you have to hire an agency to do 50,000 creatives, it would take a couple of years.
Right.
So I mean, this kind of throughput becomes possible with AI, and then the people who are who are tasked with doing the boring parts, as Rishikesh sir said. So they get better and more uh,
Time.
valuable opportunities to contribute.
Right.
So that's, I think, the gist of the overall revolution that this technology is going to bring.
Right. So, Rishikesh sir, would you like to add your perspectives being from a banking sector? Like the challenges that you are facing there.
Yeah, so the challenges are multifold. Okay, first of all, the challenge I face is normally is a human challenge where everybody wants the when I every time I speak to a business person say, you know what, I want a AI technology implemented, but they don't know for what. And I always push them saying, can you start with the business problem and let us figure out what technology to use. But everybody wants the shiny toys in the market, right? So that's a main problem that I deal on a day-to-day basis. Secondly, when we go to implement, as Kalpit said, AI is becoming more easier. And if you look at the Copilot and all, it is basically helping you write entire code for yourself. But knowing what you used to do that needs to be automated is a difficult part. So imagine a case if a new staff member gets hired in your team, right? And your boss praises saying, "Oh, he's the shining star," and then you all will say, "What is he going to do? Right? Is he going to replace my job?" And if the hard part is if your boss says, "Okay, teach him everything that he used to do." If you acquired your work for last 20 years, it is very difficult to translate that and teach
Share
that
the
person,
knowledge,
right?
right?
Yeah, share that knowledge. So it is exactly the same problem that happens when I say, oh, you know what? I can create bots, I can write bots for you. But tell me what you do. And there's a lot of time people have the muscle memory, but they don't know, they cannot translate that on a paper saying what I used to do. And that's where the challenges are, right? Somebody knows I go up, right click on here, left click there, but they don't know because they're so used to doing this manually. And that's the challenge. And the third is again human behavior, right? Everybody thinks, oh, if I share everything, am I going to lose my job? And as that's why, as Kalpit said, it is very interesting. We need to really use it as a. So think about it. When calculators came, we did not run away, right? We said we used calculators to do maths faster.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
it's a similar way. If you run away, of course, it's going to eat up your job. And if what that means, you were really not doing a meaningful job. But if you want to do a meaningful job, make use of it and then do a meaningful job. Right. So sorry, I maybe digress, but the challenges are primarily on a human side, human behavior side. Second, banks face challenges on data bias because banks are regulated entities. So what happens is, let's say, and I work for a global bank. So if we are approving loans for a particular ethnicity more than the other, or for a particular gender than the other, right? We get flagged as a bank being a biased bank, right? Or the model is doing a biased decisioning, and then banks get heavily fined for it. But if you look at it, if your data itself, the training data itself is biased, you will have that. You'll have that. So whatever we were doing it for long time, it is getting getting reflected in our decision making now, right? And I think that is the biggest challenge. So there are a lot of controls being put in, and that's why some of the large banks, the AI projects take longer. So the coding and testing probably easier bit, but for these controls, getting approvals and all, it's a longer process
So
in banks.
can you suggest some baby steps that these like maybe any sector, any industry that they can take in order to adopt the AI ML based solutions? How
I
to
think
start with that?
yeah, how to start is, I would say, as a business person, you should look at it saying, where am I burning the resources, right? Either human effort or a cost,
Mhm.
okay? Or maybe a customer growth is not happening, whatever. And then
Right.
understand, define the problem clearly. Maybe then hire somebody, a good technical consultant who will say yes. So because AI is not a technology just used in an isolation. You'll have to have a combination of technologies to solve your business problem. Second is, of course, if you hire a good consultant, he will ensure there is a good data available because you cannot just shoot in the dark, right? You'll have to have some data to be trained on. And the third is start with a very pilot implementation, smaller implementation.
Right.
And the most important is, as your implementation journey starts, start training your staff also.
Right.
Otherwise, there will be in our world. So I manage a lot of digital workers also as well as human workers in my office. Right. So I have about 400 digital workers in my reporting structure. Uh, But what happens is then digital and human worker starts fighting. And I think that is a bigger challenge. So you'll have to keep training your human workers saying they are your friends, not the foes.
Right. So as we are talking about like challenges, so specifically as Rishikesh sir, you are from banking sector. So how can organizations ensure the privacy and security of data while using AI ML? Because like now we see that in many of the organization AI applications such as Chat GPT and all that not recommended generally, because again they use our data for training their models. So, as data is the new oil, so could you please elaborate more on the legal aspects attached to it? Like being, we'll start with Rishikesh sir, being from banking sector, and then we'll come to our next panelist also.
Yeah, so I think in banking anyway, everything is regulated. So every action, every paper that you sign is regulated. So our data is generally kept intact. I think the problem comes when we use something like ChatGPT, which is hosted outside, right? Where you have to send data uh, to the other parties and all. So there are typically controls. So we every time, even for usage of clouds, we have a control on what we can send out and what we cannot. So typically it's not allowed. And then a lot of banks are exploring the option of having a local LLM installed,
Right.
which kind
Yes.
of restricts the data movement outside bank. So that is the main part. The other is there are a lot of controls from access controls where if I'm from investment bank, I should not access the retail banking data and whatnot based on the hierarchies and everything. The other important, and I think everybody follows that, is the classification of a data. You have a data classified as a public data, internal data, confidential and highly restricted data, right? Based on what that data is. So that classification kind of buckets my data into 4 different pieces. And these
Mhm.
4 different pieces have a different amounts of locks placed on it, right? If it is a public data anyway available on a website, I wouldn't care about sharing that much because it's anyway available as a public data, right? Something like banks share stock price or a bank's results or whatever, right? That's it's available in public market, so that I can talk about. Something like a strategy or a pricing that becomes like a restricted data, and then I cannot share that. So these kind of controls are placed on. But based on the use case, the other thing a lot of people may not be aware is something called data visa, uh,
Mhm.
where when human travels from one country to other, you need a visa.
Mhm. Right.
Similarly, there are a lot of geographies which restricts data. Even for that matter, India also restricts data going from here to outside. So if say my technology team sits in China, and I'm building on an application which kind of makes them gives them access to look at the data, they will have to apply for a data visa. So the data is literally transitioning from here to China. And I think
Right. Because for
these are
MNCs, this is very much required. Like,
this is very much so.
right.
Larger part of our problems are, since we operate in 70 80 countries, right? It's about how to ensure is there a data visa. Even if one record just slips through, it's a
Mhm.
huge regulatory problem for us.
Right, right, sir. So Kalpit sir, your views on this about
So
privacy? Yes, sir.
around the baby steps or around the data security?
Data security, sir.
Yeah.
Privacy and security, how to maintain.
Right, right. So essentially, I think uh, the way that it's happening right now is typically, large enterprises are on the cloud. They are subscribers to one of the three major clouds or one of the two, secondary cloud service providers. And each of these three, like top three clouds, have their own AI studios. They have their own ML studios. They have their own large language model offerings. They have their own multimodal model offerings, and they have, all the compliances kind of set. So they are GDPR compliant, they are HIPAA compliant, they have SOC 2 compliance, etc., etc. I mean, whichever applies to your specific industry.
Right.
So the clouds themselves are kind of ready to support the AI applications because they realize the value in supporting the AI applications. uh, what is then required is when you have a use case established, that is valuable, like Rishikesh sir talked about. So then what is needed is putting that right framework, that right operating framework, and that right security framework, the right kind of architecture, so that it handles your use case, it gives the right access to the right people, it implements the right kind of security,
Mm-hmm.
so that all your data never leaves your grounds. All the use cases are kind of contained within them, and they still are able to provide value. While this may sound complicated, there are a lot of examples wherein these kinds of use cases are already being implemented. So I think we have done probably 20 odd use cases in the last 1.5 year just related to these aspects. So that becomes one part, and the other part is when you can't expose your data to even the cloud, which is in like
Right.
super
Mhm.
confidential data kind of use cases where you don't want your data to be even available within the
Available
cloud.
on cloud. Right.
So in those cases, what you need is a very specialized architecture, which obviously handles your use case. So, for example, if you need to do something like, for example, fraud prediction
Mhm.
or fraud detection, but you
Right.
want to do it as near to the customer as possible. Just giving an example, so in that case, where do you put your model? So, what
Mhm.
is the first point of contact
Right.
that you have? So,
Right.
in that case, it's either co-located servers or own servers or on-premise servers, etc.
Mm.
So then a very specialized group of people is required to implement that solution, which includes roles like your sysadmin needs to be involved for implementing that network level security. So it's a very specialized kind of use cases, but 95% of the use cases are based in the cloud, have very typical architectures, and have the frameworks pretty much defined, and the architectures pretty much defined in the way that they can be implemented.
Right. Yes. So, like now we talk about security part also, different use cases. So, coming to the future trends now. So, Reddy sir, how do you see the role of AI evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, what are the emerging trends in AI ML that businesses should be aware of?
Okay. If you see day in day out the reports from KPMG or Boston Consulting Group, all these people, AI is going to the market size going to be very huge in next 2 to 3 years. And if you see one a good example, Nvidia became market value is close to Indian GDP. Okay, within no
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Okay,
Because
that
of
it's also
GPU
one
and all
trend.
that huge processing power is required these days
Yeah.
for all this.
So
Right.
also the impact on the climate is also need to be considered day every day consciously, because the power consumption is very high, and the computing that is required, the infra, so that we need to be taken care into, because the moment we think about future, obviously we already struggled a lot and struggling a lot on the environment issues. So one thing consciously the organization need to adopt is that part technology. People are adopting left, right, and center. Okay, people are using it day in day out. Markets are booming up every day. Okay, people like Kalpit Garu and Kalpit ji and Rishikesh ji are encouraging a lot of use cases on AI. So this aspiration or appetite cannot be decreased or changed. But consciously the other efforts also need to be taken into consideration, how efficiently we can deliver with less consumption of the resources. Okay, is one thing, and how wisely we use while we are using or developing UAA use case, how ethically we are doing implementing it. Okay, and data privacy is also very important. Now India is the biggest data generator among the other world leaders, so we need to be conscious on the how we are distributing our data, how responsibly we are utilizing the data is very very important, because data will be a threat at a later point of time. Wars may happen with the data, so we need to be very conscious on that part. We are
Data
utilizing
is a new oil these days. So,
yeah.
yes, wars may happen because of data.
So all these new future aspects, see, next 5 years is the era of AI. That's for sure. People are in the wave. Whether you go with the wave or not, wave will take you for sure. Take you away. So be ready with all the equipment and gear. Okay, so that you also sail through it very safely.
Yes. So if
Yeah.
the businesses are like ready to be there and in that wave and they are ready to invest in AIML. So Kalpit sir, how can businesses measure the return on investment ROI for their AIML initiatives? Like, are there any metrics to be used or that they can use to find out the ROI?
Right, right. So essentially, that boils. So I'm not a finance person. I'll admit that, right up front. But if we kind of boil it down to the basics, what do businesses want to do? There are only three things that businesses want to do: A, increase profits; B, reduce operating costs; and C, expand into new markets. So if you want to kind of measure the return of investment on anything, so be it a standard software implementation, be it hiring of a new person, for example, or starting a new division, or implementing an AI use case, as long as it is tagged to one of these three, it becomes somewhat clear on which dimension this is going to be measured on.
Right.
So, for example, if you are bringing in, if you have identified, where you are burning money, in the words of Rishikesh sir. So, if you have identified where you are burning money, that's typically operating cost. And if that is something that you want to reduce using, AI, the way of measuring it is always going to be the number of people working on that task, the number of hours they work on that task, in a week or every day, and their compensation per hour, per week, per month. I mean, in whatever manner. So that's going to be the operating cost of running that function. If you automate it by 50%, and that saves 50% of the time, the ROI is simple: that the money that you were spending multiplied by 50%, that is your return on investment. Given that your investment is lower than this 50%, then you have made a successful implementation. If the or a revenue, not revenue generating, but cost saving initiative, if your expenses are more than this 50% number, then you have essentially put more money into it than you expect back. So which is also fine. So in the land of proofs of concepts and pilot projects, it's often the case where you invest more money than you aim to save. So this is completely okay. The idea is that eventually, 6 months down the line, 9 months down the line, a year down the line, it's going to start saving you money. So it might be that it also helps another function. The proof of concept kind of establishes the fact that if we automate this by 50%, we save this much, then why not automate it by 90%? So
Right.
it gives an idea to the overall organization that, hey, this part is probably inefficient. If it can be made more efficient, let's make it more efficient using
Mm.
AI. So
Right.
that's the typical framework which enterprises follow. Now there are different quantification mechanisms on it. There are a lot of additional aspects that come into consideration: infrastructure cost, resource cost, upskilling cost. I mean, there are in a lot of cases these proofs of concepts or pilots also themselves have to be certified. So even
Right.
those costs are included. But the bottom line is that, if it reduces your operating costs, it's good. If it increases your revenue or your profits, that's good. If it helps you expand your business. So let me give one example on that. So say somebody manufactures nuts and bolts,
Mm-hmm.
and they sell it for say 5 rupees each. But then they realize that a lot of customers are asking that buy their nuts and bolts, are actually just using them for bolting together sheets of metal, for example.
Mm.
So if they start offering that as a solution, then
Mm.
instead of getting 5 and 5 rupees per pair, they get 100 rupees for manufacturing the bolted sheets. So that kind of helps them expand their market.
Right.
This is coming out to be a use case in which which is called a solution offering. So
Mm-hmm.
having this discovered solutions is also becoming an aspect where AI is helping large enterprises build better products and better solution offerings. So and that helps calculate the ROI even better. So
Right.
just to boil it down, it's always those three principles that businesses work on.
Right. So, like before we open our forum for question and answer, already we got like many questions in the chat box. I see. Just a quick question, because we have collected expectations from our audience from this webinar. So there are some audience who want to shift their careers to AI ML domain after having maybe 5-10 years of experience in IT or any other sector. So, what advice would you like to give them? A quick question to Rishikesh sir, and then we'll open it for question answer. Sir, you're on, I guess. Hello, you're not audible, sir. Hello, maybe you're not audible.
Rishikesh sir, please say
Rishi-
something so that we can understand whether the problem has been sorted out. Rishikesh sir, it seems you have muted yourself. Please say something.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. If meanwhile, Reddy sir, if you could answer it, like if they want to shift their career to this AI ML domain, so like
Yeah, definitely.
advice would you like?
It's the most important and very interesting question for me always.
Right, and most of the audience have like having this expectation, as we have collected like
Yeah.
their
So
expectations from
again,
this.
it is like whether you are from tech industry or non-tech industry. That's where the first question that start with, right? So if you are from tech industry, then you need to go, because there are so many AI roles are there. Okay, so which role you are supposed to get into is purely based on your interest. Okay, so and also the skill that you have at present. But over a period of time, if you feel yes, I can actually do much better things over a period of time, obviously you can always look at the career shift also into a different domains. If you see pure technical roles, pure non-technical roles, first you need to evaluate where you stand, whether you are a programmer, you are interested to learn programming, or in future, yes, I have a plan to start with my programming career. Then there are job roles in that aspect. Now you people are actually talking about creating agents with the long chain and then LLMs which are available in the market. So that is one thing that you always can think about. Okay, and you can also be a core developer of AML solutions. Okay, with which you can start with Python and then start learning the in depth of the concepts of the machine learning statistics and the data cleaning techniques. That stuff you can go with. Or if you want to go with data analytics part, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a great programmer,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but you still want to pursue this overall AI technologies, then you can actually start with your journey of AI journey with the data analytics, like tools like Power BI, Tableau. You can
Tableau.
always learn. Okay,
Right,
so where you individually, every student need to understand, or every learner need to understand what is their skill set and what is their
right,
aspiring towards. Okay,
right.
based on that, write this SWOT analysis and then start becoming a journey. So I strongly suggest this friend.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. So now let us start with our Q&A session. So one of our participant, Hussein Gadiwal, he's a student from MIT WPU. This question, he has asked the question, and this question is for Kalpit sir. Your take on conscious AI and emotion-driven AI. So what is your take on that, sir?
Okay, so that's an interesting question, and it's a bit of a philosophical question. So the answer will be a little philosophical, uh, but uh, if you really think about it, there is no you know uh, copyright that humans have over emotions, or there is no way that we can claim ourselves to be the only intelligence that this universe has produced. So we can never say if a system is conscious or not. We
Hmm.
can never say if a system is feeling emotions or not. So if an AI has become conscious or not, has not become conscious, it's something that we cannot tell. We only know that we ourselves are conscious.
Right.
That's all. And that we ourselves are experiencing emotions. Now the way that we know others are experiencing emotions is because of social conditioning.
Mhm.
If at for example, there is a parameter called temperature in a large language model. If we say that the temperature is zero point 0.8, Google Gemini calls it creative mode. So we don't know if it's actually being creative, or if it's just a computer program trying to randomize the words. And by corollary, we don't know that our creativity is not just randomizing words.
Right.
So it's a philosophical question.
Got it. Got
uh,
it.
it's,
Yeah,
it's a philosophical question, and yeah, I mean, we can
yeah.
never tell.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Just an interesting point to add to what Kalpit said. There's a movie called Her. In I think it released in 2013, where a
Mm-hmm.
man falls in love with a an AI bot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
It,
right.
it very nicely explains how that AI bot develops the emotion. All emotions we have typically in relationship, right? Love, caring, jealousy, envy, everything. All those emotions that bot. So it's a very, of course, it's a fiction, but it's a very interesting way to look at this philosophy.
Right, sir.
And just to
So,
add to that, so bots have now developed the ability to emulate emotions.
Hmm.
I mean, all and that's not a future possibility. That's 6 months ago actually. So there's a saying in the AI world: this is the worst it's going to be ever. So it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah.
So there are cases where people are more interested in talking to the bots than to humans. So that has already started. So we are
that's why I'm
already
very much scared about whenever people start talking about AGI. So general intelligence, that is the picture, no? These emotions and all, probably we need to understand whether it's a real emotion or not.
exactly.
Exactly, sir. So,
That
like,
is something which we personally experienced while speaking to Alexa. So, Alexa, can't you understand what we are trying to say? So, we express ourselves, and then Alexa would say, sorry, can't understand. And then we realize that, okay, we're talking to a bot, not to a human being, to AI. That's very interesting.
Yeah, but then you feel happy that at least somebody says sorry.
right, sir. So, can we take the next question, sir? So Deepika Singh, she has asked, she's a PhD scholar from SBUP, and she has asked how we can use AI for safe investment, as there lot of influencers are there in the market, and how AI is helping for financial portfolio. So quick answer, sir, because already we are running late. So
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think there's a quick answer. So I would suggest investment decision. You should hire a good investment advisor and do it. Don't rely on AI right now, because there are plenty of diluted versions around in the market. So it's best to reach out to any bank or a good trusted advisor and do the investment.
Right. So one more question from Varsha. She's asking about data privacy, but already we have addressed this question. So next question. This will be, we'll take this last question, sir, and then maybe we can summarize. So Ruby Chatwal, she's asking, Volkswagen CO and escape bearings are fully digitalized in Pune.
That is the information that she shared.
Right, right. That is the
There's a
information
question
actually.
by Mr. Makru, if you can take, and one Dr. Govind Kumar.
Makru, just a moment.
So I'll read it out if you don't mind,
Yeah,
because I
please,
can
ma'am.
see, yeah,
Yes.
because it must be lost. Uh, so if that, like, if you could give some examples of weak and strong AI and how it impacts the data related to capital markets and businesses. So this is the question from Mr. Makru. Weak
Interesting.
and strong AI.
Weak and strong AI, right?
Yep, I'm
Right.
not sure what a weak and strong AI. I think it's probably if it is referring to the accuracy part of it. So every AI model has an accuracy, right? Some might have 70, 75%, and the use case might be okay with that accuracy, and some use cases, so something like a fraud detection or probably a credit decisioning, you'll need a much higher accuracy. So yeah, these are the implementations. So based on the use case, you have either slightly less accurate and slightly more accurate AI implementation.
Maybe in that perspective also can add the kind of data you may be referring. The data size also very important to train the model. So obviously, if you see weak AI model is obviously based on the data that you have fed it to. So that's another way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe strong can take decision on their like wisdom also, weak data maybe weak AI maybe the audience may be suggesting any AI which is trained only on a particular domain. Is that maybe that is the difference? Weak AI and strong AI.
So,
So
if I may just add, so I mean, for the definition part, so weak AI is essentially a narrow kind of
right, limited domain, right?
with a
Yes,
specific kind of use case. Strong AI is typically
right.
referred to as the you know the
Can
AI
take
that can
some
handle
generic
multiple kinds of
decisions, right? Right.
problem. No,
Yes.
it can handle multiple kinds of problem statements within the same model. So that's it.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay.
So
So yes, sir. Now we are towards the end of our.
next question, Neela ma'am, just I'll because they would otherwise. Just one more, if
Yeah,
you
sure.
don't mind, Rishikesh sir, Reddy sir, and Kalpit ji, if you don't mind, let the audience learn, let this opportunity be there with them, I mean to say. So the question is by Dr. Govind Kumar Reddy. He's asking that although majorly this question has been answered, but then I would repeat that what are some real world applications of AI today? This question is by Dr. Govind Kumar. Uh,
I think plenty of them, right? Even
Yeah.
your most favorite thing, Swiggy and Zomato,
Mm.
they know your food choices much better than your wife. Okay, and that's a simple AI use case. If you just look at it, what notification Zomato sends you at what time, Zomato kind of has learned your history and understood what you order normally at what time and stuff like that. But again, that's on a lighter side. There are plenty of them. Even Alexa, Google, the Siri, all these are basic AI implementations, as well as if you go to even DigiYatra, it must have observed that's a phenomenal use case of using AI and ML, where it just looks at your
Right. The
face
boarding pass.
and
Right.
marks you as a safe, and then you just bypass the queue, which is a very good experience because somebody who travels frequently, it
Right.
saves a lot of time. Plus banking, there are plenty of examples like fraud detection I explained on a credit card, credit decisioning, loan decisioning, all the
And
chatbots that
healthcare
you are
also,
talking to.
healthcare also, we haven't touched that area actually, but healthcare also, there are a lot many applications, sir. Like
Yes,
IoT and
healthcare.
AI, yes. So maybe critical healthcare also, like continuously monitoring health of a patient in ICU and this.
Yep,
So in healthcare also, there are many use cases of it. Like
yep. I think COVID vaccine also was fast tracked because of
Yeah,
exactly.
the
yeah.
machine
Yes,
learning model.
yes, right. So now what do you suggest, Manisha ma'am? Like, should we take more question or will
there are
summarize because
just one last question is by Professor Sandeep Kamble. And do you want me to read out, Neelam
yes,
ma'am?
yes, ma'am, yes, please.
So his question is that what are the contemporary obstacle that AI and companies are facing to facilitate upskilling to rural India? To facilitate upskilling to rural India. What are the contemporary obstacles AI and ML companies are facing to facilitate upskilling in rural India?
Yeah. If you're okay.
Kalpit ji, would you want to answer this?
I think Reddy sir would be the right person to talk about this. And so after that, I will, also like to give a couple of thoughts on
Sure,
it.
sure, 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 sure.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kalpit. Actually, I was requesting for the that but I was in mute, so I didn't realize that. Okay, obviously, first and foremost thing is the infrastructure point of view. Okay, thanks to Digital India, majority of the geographic locations in India actually covered with the digital infrastructure, but still there are few areas where they need to be improved. If you think about last mile delivery of these new technologies, okay, and the production services whatever are built around AI and if they need to see the market. Obviously, digital infrastructure makes a very big impact. Point number one. Point number two, in perspective of the skilling part, still today also we see based on our analysis, leave about the rural India, even the urban India also, many of the people know these keywords and how to use them at a surface level. Okay, lot of youth between 12 years to 35 years, if you see, there is a great gap in adopting this emerging technology, especially AI. Okay, governments are also adopting very seriously that they are coming up with state-wise AI machine. Even the new government also, the central government also prioritized this AI as a mission under the brand called India AI, and they are including every piece of AI into their curriculum, their labs, their delivery, credit system. Everywhere it is going. One small stat I will tell you: the craze or the youth aspiration from the rural places and urban suburban places in Telangana. If there are close to 1.3 lakh seats available for engineering, out of which last year 90,000 students actually have taken computer science engineering with AI or ML or data science or data analyst specialization. That is the aspiration that the country is moving towards. And every over and above, the other infrastructure issue also are getting solved slowly one by one. And it has reached the majority of the portion, but yeah, there are few areas which need to be covered. And if we create hub and spoke model of a center of excellences, okay, in rural and rural places also, this information flow should be there, the knowledge flow should be there till the last point. It is heavily concentrated in urban areas, so this mechanism of hub and spoke probably will take it to the rural areas. Yeah, that's it from my Kalpit, please. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
So
So,
I think I would just like to add a couple of points to that.
sure,
So
sir, sure. Yes.
I think the problem that that is being talked about here, rural India, urban India, etc. Uh, so it's not a technical challenge. The way, probably the easiest way of solving this is to allow work from home in larger organizations and enterprises, because during COVID period, every IT organization grew, every IT and software rollout and implementation sped up, uh, and there was a lot of expansion in the overall industry. This is not just AI. um, because people were working from home, people were essentially able to work from where they wanted, and their productivity improved. Uh, so uh, for example, we are from Nagpur. Nagpur is not really on the map of IT behemoths in India. Uh, but building an AI team here uh, would have been impossible if there was no there wasn't something like COVID. I mean, obviously it was extremely unfortunate, but the kind of people that we were able to work with, and the people that we kind of onboarded were not really from the Punes and Bangalore's of the world. They were more from Himachal, they were more from Uttarakhand, they were more from coastal Odisha. These people wanted to work in AI, but they didn't want to really leave their hometown. Just giving an example here. So the way of addressing this rural urban kind of divide is not in no way related to skilling. It's related to your company policies. If you are okay with having a more distributed workforce, having maybe a hub and spoke kind of a model, and if you wish to expand, and this is more for from a company standpoint, if you wish to expand your skill base, uh, the way of doing it is not really centralize things but to decentralize things. So that's the point.
Sometimes, are we facing like any infrastructure kind of things, maybe those hurdles? Uh,
So
that
I think all of them, people found out a way to do that during COVID. None of that has gone away. So
Okay, sure, sir. So now, as we have come to the end of this webinar, so I would like to summarize our discussion. So, our distinguished speakers provided a comprehensive overview of how AI and ML are transforming various industries. Then also we talk about the current trends and applications like AI-driven predictive maintenance in manufacturing, education, and also banking sector. Uh, AI is set to significant assist rather than replace human resources. So human resource enhancement, we also talk about that. So, but it is actually not to replace the human, but to enhance the productivity, support decision making, automating the routine task and all that. So that employees can focus on more strategic and creative aspects of their role. There are also some challenges, key challenges associated with this implementation, like data quality and availability, need for skilled personnel. This is also very like big challenge these days, and resistance to change within the organization. So these are the challenges, and associated with that, we also talk about some implementation strategies. So starting with pilot projects, maybe you can start with to demonstrate the value, and then investing in training and development of the employees. So these are the baby steps maybe we can take. We also talk about the future trends. So rise of autonomous systems, then also enhanced natural language processing capabilities, NLP and all that, chat GPT, all these applications that we see. Then increased AI integration in education and customer service. So these are few future trends associated with this. Now, when it comes to data, we also talk about security and privacy. So we also discuss about privacy of data. So ensuring robust data encryption and strengthening data governance policies, regular audits and compliance with regulations like GDPR. So these are some like maybe care we can take as far as data security is concerned. Then we also talk about the ROI or maybe the metrics, right, to measure ROI. So using metrics such as cost saving, efficiency gains, and revenue growth, we can measure the ROI. So continuous monitoring and adapting strategies based on performance data. Then finally, we talk about leveraging advanced algorithm to drive decision making and optimize process across various sectors. So, like we talk about the overall, what is this technology is about, what are the challenges associated with the privacy part of it, and what are the future trends related to this domain. So, with this, the panel discussion is over, but our journey will continue. Here at Balaji University, we will always be there to help you make your AI dreams come true. So feel free to connect. Today, because of the positive of time, we cannot address all the questions, but definitely we'll be in touch with you all the participants. Will get back to you maybe on your mail IDs or maybe on WhatsApp. So thank you so very much. Now I'll hand it over to Dr. Amar Gupta. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists and the audience. Handing it over to Amar sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Well, Dr. Neelam ma'am, that was indeed an enlightening session, and I'm sure that our participants have gained valuable insights and takeaways from our distinguished speakers today.
Right.
To me personally, Dr. Neelam ma'am, I think the biggest takeaway for me after attending this webinar and attending the talk and session of all the speakers, it is Anugachati Prava. That is to go with the flow. So
Mhm.
without much ado, I would like to hand over the charge to Dr. Megha Singh, my colleague from MDP Consultancy Department, for her concluding remarks, vote of thanks, and discussion of the forthcoming programs in the coming future. Over to you, Dr. Megha Singh, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. Thank you so much. So, I would thank you to everyone who has attended this webinar. Thank you for all your active participation and insightful contributions throughout the webinar. Before we conclude with the vote of thanks, I would like to take a moment to inform you about some exciting upcoming events hosted by Sribuild under the aegis of Sri Balaji University, Pune, that you would definitely wouldn't want to miss. So we have an exciting series of upcoming programs also, would say correlating to what we have done today, that is artificial intelligence. And my request would be to mark your calendars and reserve your spots by itself today. So please see, the first we are having is a marketing MDP, customer segmentation through the lens of AI, in association with Pune Management Association and Balaji Institute of Technology and Management. This is a 5-hour online MDP scheduled for August 10th. So please be sure to bookmark this date for an insightful drive into AI-driven marketing strategies. The next in our series is an integrated faculty and management development program titled Bharat Ek Khoj, exploring the Indian knowledge system for academic and corporate excellence. This comprehensive 5-day online program runs from September 23rd to 28th. Do not forget to reserve these dates in your calendar for a deep exploration of India's rich knowledge systems and their applications. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this remarkable event, it is my honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I, on behalf of Sribuild, under the aegis of Sri Balaji University, Pune, extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Kalpit, Mr. Ganta Srinath Reddy, and Mr. Rishikesh Utpal. Your insights and expertise have greatly enriched our panel discussions, providing us with invaluable knowledge and effort. We sincerely appreciate your time, your space, your effort for being here with us today. I would also like to express a heartfelt thanks to our outstanding moderator, Dr. Neelam. Your skillful guidance of the panel discussion, insightful questions, and seamless facilitation were crucial to its success. We are also truly grateful for your contributions. Our sincere thanks goes to our sponsors and partners, AI School and Pune Management Association. Your generous support has been instrumental in bringing this event to fruition. We deeply appreciate your commitment and collaboration. To all our attendees, thank you for your active participation and your engagement. Your presence is what made this event meaningful today. We hope you found it as enriching and informative as we intended. Our profound gratitude goes to our founder, president, and chancellor, the late Professor Dr. Colonel A. Balasubramanian, and our leadership team, Honorable Chancellor B. Paramanandan Sir, Vice Chancellor Dr. G.K. Shude, our deans, our senior deans, Dr. Dimple and Dr. Biju Pillai, Registrar Sir, Dr. S.B. Agassi, and all our directors and deputy directors of all our institutes, BIMHRD, BIIM, BIIB, and a special thanks to BITM. We also extend our gratitude to the venue staff, IT team led by Mr. Ketan, the digital team led by Mr. Neeraj, and the technical support team. Your professionalism and assistance ensured everything ran smoothly, and we are greatly appreciative of your efforts. A special thanks to Dr. Manisha Shukla, Director MDP, for being the steadfast foundation of our team. Additionally, our heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee, Dr. Dipali, Dr. Gauri, Dr. Monica, Dr. Amanat, Ms. Kirti, Ms. Priyanka, Ms. Ojaswita, Mr. Lakshman, and Mr. Mahesh. Your hard work, dedication, and meticulous planning have been the backbone of this event. Without your tireless efforts, behind the scenes today would not have been possible. Inclusion, In conclusion, thank you all once again for being here and making this event a resounding success. Not the end so far, but we are pleased to announce that in recognition of our speakers' involvement, we will be providing green certificates to our panel members. These certificates reflect the commitment to sustainability, representing a step towards reducing our carbon footprint and an appreciation for your support. A bountiful tree has been planted in your name, which you can also locate with the GPS marker on the e-certificate. In the last, I would request Dr. Manisha Shukla, Director Strebuild, to please say a few words before we finally close the session today. Over to you.
So thank you, Megha. Thank you, everyone. And a very, very special thank you to all the esteemed speakers. And I take this opportunity that as we continue this journey of learning, Megha and everybody, so we would very soon be sharing a token of gratitude to you all, esteemed speakers. A book would be couriered to you, wish, and it's I, on behalf of Sri Balaji University, Pune, am really delighted to extend invitation to you to please visit our campus here at Pune. It would be our delight to host you here and to hear from you directly in person. So thank you for all your pearls of wisdom that you shared with us. And this might be just 90 minutes today, but we continue for 90 and 900 and 9,000 more years. Association. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. And may God bless everyone. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Manisha ji. So great words. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinath sir,
Thank you.
Kalpit
Thank
sir,
you.
the AI School, Pune Management Association, all the distinguished guests, all the directors, HODs, deputy directors of SBUP and all other institutes and universities. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kalpitji, Reddy sir, Rishikesh sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.